Welcome to Shreveport Connected with Tommy. This video is on Superstars and Raw this week for WWE. As usual, some brief news. Happy birthday goes to Divas champion Layla. She's 34 years old today. She was born June 25th, 1978. Layla was a dance team member for the Miami Heat. She also danced for P. Diddy and Kanye West at the MTV Music Awards. According to her Wikipedia page, she joined WWE when she won the Diva Search in 2006. WWE Divas Champion Layla L. Okay, I already said that. 1978. I guess we did it twice. The press release. There was a press release that touted the series. The series will offer a big arena experience with live audiences like current WWE Weekly program. In other words, all signs point to a show being taped at Raw or SmackDown called Ion. It's ION, airing on 305 and 347 on DirecTV on channels 216 and 217 on Dish Network. Check your local listings to find out where the network airs on cable or over the air in your area. That's about a new WWE program. WWE also announced the appointment of Bill Hirsch and Ted Van Zelst as Vice Presidents of Integrated Sales. The duo will be responsible for building key marketing partner relationships and will report to the Executive Vice President of Sales and Partnership Marketing, Andrew Judelson. And you can read the official press release at corporate.wwe.com. Also, Hirsch worked in a similar capacity for the New Jersey Devils of the NHL, and Van Zelst worked as the Vice President of National Property Sales for Live Nation and also worked for NASCAR. Okay. MLW.com radio with Alex Greenfield. Host Mr. St. Laurent. Available for free at MLW.com. Also available on iTunes and syndicated via Stitcher.com. Alex Greenfield commented on Vince McMahon challenging him to step outside his office. We're standing right outside the arena. There are fans way back behind the fence wondering what Mr. Manning's yelling at this little Jewish kid for. I just refused to back down. I was like, my way is the right way. You did wrong, he said. Damn it, I wish you were 6'7", and I said, I'm not, but I'm standing right here. And there was a moment in that conversation where I thought that he was just going to haul off and punch me in the face. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking like a badass here, but like I would have won this confrontation necessarily. He probably would have broken my jaw, but he really thought about it. I'm convinced to this day that he thought about knocking the blank out of me. Also on MLW's Conan show, Court Bauer shared a hilarious story about Vince McMahon and brown sugar that left Conan speechless and also laughing. MLW Radio and MLW's Conan show are available at MLW.com and iTunes. WWE has announced that actor Charlie Sheen will serve as the celebrity social media ambassador for the 1000th episode of Raw on July 23rd. During the 3-hour milestone event, the winning actor will entertain his 7.5 million Twitter followers and the WWE Universe all night long with his unique 140 character analysis of the action. Reads as a statement on WWE.com. Losing this would have seemed so much bigger before Sheen's antics jumped the shark. Based on the announcement, it doesn't even appear that it will be on at the show, but rather sitting at home tweeting about Raw or having some hired gun that will tweet for him. Well, he does his massive amounts of cocaine or whatever he's into these days, and his commercials with his new car deal or whatever he's got going. WMV is billing the July 3rd live edition of SmackDown on the Sci-Fi Network called The Great American Bash. The show will be held in Corpus Christi, Texas, which is just 2 weeks away. It will be a super show with wrestlers from Raw and SmackDown appearing, like every other week. Only this time, perhaps John Cena and or Triple H appearance will be televised. And a dark match prior to Raw. Guess what? Another a-rye beating. Bray Wyatt, the former Husky Harris, defeated a-rye in the dark match prior to Raw TV tapings in Fort Wayne, Indiana tonight. And spoilers for Superstars for 6/28. That's June 28, 2012. First match, Tag Team Champions Kofi Kingston. One half of the Tag Team Champion defeated Michael McGillicuddy. Kofi got a huge pop, and McGillicuddy got a mid-heat response. Pretty awkward toward the end, but overall a decent enough match, lasting 10 minutes. Match number 2, Darren Young defeated Epico after some shenanigans from Titus O'Neil. Decent match, going about 5 minutes, but a lame finish with the interference. AEW's gimmick will definitely get over since his mic stayed on all match. And you can look for the hashtag annoying on the show. And Raw tonight. Super Show kicks off with a normal intro video. We get vignettes looking at AJ Lee's involvement in a feud between CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Kane. And they show her backstage with, well, it appears to be Daniel Bryan, Kane, and CM Punk. Well, let's say it is like, got a mirror here, got a mirror here, and got a mirror here. And she's talking to herself in the mirror. I guess she's here, seeing voices in her eyes, seeing faces. I'm just panning off Randy Orton's song there. Okay, well, it appears to be that she's talking about talking to them. Well, she's rehearsing what she's going to say later on. She has some here. She tells Brian that they're going to have to drift apart. She says she loses all inhibitions when she sees Kane and just wants to get wild. AJ then says she would like to be soulmates with Punk, but she isn't sure what he's thinking. AJ says it's best if they just go their separate ways. The camera moves and we see she was just talking to herself in the mirror. Then we cut to the Raw opening video. We're live from Fort Wayne, Indiana as the pyro goes off and Michael Cole welcomes us. He and Jerry Lawler hyped tonight's show and a singles match with Brodus Clay and Big Show. Also tonight, John Cena's big announcement. We go to the stage and out comes Miss Piggy Guerrero, as she's this week's Raw and SmackDown interim general manager. And she's so excited about it and has triple threat elimination match up first. And it's none other than Daniel Bryan, Kane, and CM Punk in this match. We go to the ring. Out first comes Daniel Bryan. Kane is out next, followed by WWE champions CM Punk with a big pop. Bell rings and Punk goes at it with Kane. Kane shows him off and does the same to Bryan. Kane with a screw slam on Bryan and more shots from Punk. Kane drops Punk with a back elbow, but gets stopped by Bryan. Bryan with kicks to Kane's leg. Punk joins in and they beat down Kane with kicks. Bryan rolls Punk up for a 2 as Kane goes out to the floor. They lock up and Punk drops Bryan with a shoulder. Punk grabs Bryan in midair and Atomic drops him. Punk goes for the submission. Lock up and Punk goes for a submission as we see AJ walking backstage. Punk goes to dive through the ropes on Kane but gets stopped with a right hand. Bryan leaps off the apron but Kane catches him in midair and slams him into a barrier as they go to commercial break. Back from the break, and Kane is in control in the ring. He climbs up top, but Bryan cuts him off. Bryan goes for a superplex, but Punk stops him. Punk stops both of them. Punk gets Bryan on the shoulders. Kane comes down as he's getting for the Doomsday device. Well, Kane comes down, and Punk moves, but Bryan rolls him up for a 2 count, just to duck the big clothesline or chop. Kane grabs both men for a choke slam, but they kick him and hit a double suplex. Punk and Bryan trade shots now. Punk drops Bryan with a drop kick and a clothesline. Punk then shoves Bryan into Kane, who's crawling up on the apron, and then dumps Kane out on the floor. Punk now dumps Bryan out on top of Kane. Punk runs the ropes and dives through, taking out both men. Punk springboards in, but Bryan catches him in the Borgasm lock. Punk blocks it and catapults Bryan into Kane on the apron. Punk covers Bryan, but his leg gets on the bottom rope to break the pinfall. Punk goes for the GTS on Bryan, but Kane drops them both with a top rope with a big boot. Kane with a 2 count on Punk. Kane with a side slam on Punk for another 2. Kane with a big right hand from the top rope now. Kane calls for a choke slam, but AJ's music hits, and out she comes, skipping around the ring and heads back to the back. Kane goes for a choke slam, but Punk slides out. Punk hits the GTS on Kane, covers him. Kane is eliminated. Right after that, Bryan comes in and lays Punk out with a kick to the head. Bryan covers for the win. Real fast-like. Miss Piggy backstage with Alberto Del Rio walking in with Ricardo Rodriguez and a dozen flowers. Dolph Ziggler walks in and says, "Oh, these are for me?" He says he's the rightful #1 contender to the World Heavyweight title. Ziggler tells Vicky he only needs one more shot at the title. Vicky says she's made a #1 contenders match. There will be a contract attached to a pole, and the first man to get it faces Sheamus on SmackDown. As Ricardo Rodriguez is bringing in flowers in a vase, Ziggler takes them, smashes them into the wall. Because he was thinking they were for him. So, oh, really? Smash. Still to come, Big Show. Still to come segment. Big Show versus Brodus Clay. Back to commercial. Brodus Clay versus Big Show is up next. Back for the commercial, and out comes Brodus Clay with Cameron and Naomi. They do the Funkasaurus and Funkettes, kind of Funkadactyls. And Big Show is out next, and he looks ready to fight. Bell rings, and they go at it. Show goes for a big chop in the corner, but Brodus fights out. Brodus takes Show down with a big headbutt. Show takes Clay's injured knee out and goes to work on it with big elbow drops. Show then takes Clay to the ring post and slams his leg into it. Show climbs to the second rope and comes splashing down. Show goes for the knockout punch, but Clay fights him off with headbutts. Clay goes for a scoop slam, but his leg comes out, and it's a splash. Ends up as a splash. Show falls on top and covers for the win. After the match, Clay's dancers come to check on Brodus' knee with some trainers. Lawler is hyping John Cena's big announcement for later tonight. Coleslaw leads us into a video package looking at John Cena making his 300th wish with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Okay, well, they went to the commercial, back from the commercial, and this week's 1000th Raw moment looks back at Bob Barker hosting the Raw show in 2009. Then Cole Lawler looked back at what just happened with Big Show and Brodus Clay. During commercial, Clay was being helped out of the arena by trainers when Big Show laid him out with a knockout punch again. This time it actually looked like it hit. Cole talks about Triple H challenging Brock Lesnar to a match at SummerSlam. We see the footage from No Way Out where Triple H issued the challenge, and then the next night on Raw where Triple H has hit Paul Heyman. It's announced that next week Brock Lesnar will have an official answer for Triple H's SummerSlam challenge. AJ is shown backstage talking to Kane. He says she makes him feel things he never thought possible. Kane says it's not a good thing. Kane says he's not exactly a boyfriend material and says that's okay. Kane says he doesn't do relationships. He's a monster. He wears a mask. His only source of pleasure is eviscerating people. Kane says even he finds AJ mentally unstable. Kane says it's best if they just stay away from each other. Kane tells her goodbye and walks off. AJ starts to cry, and then she smiles as they go to commercial. It's like a half and half. United States title match is up next. Jack Swagger and versus Santino Marella. And back from the break, Jack Swagger's already in the ring. Out next comes the United States Heavyweight Champion, Santino Marella. This is Santino's first time defending the title on Raw since April. Swagger drops Santino with a big right hand to start the match. Swagger takes it to the corner and beats Santino down. Santino turns around in the corner and they go back and forth. Santino blocks a shot in the corner and slams Santino. Swagger blocks a shot in the corner and slams Santino with a big power slam. Swagger hit with a big 2 count. Santino makes another comeback, but Swagger drops him again. Santino bounces right back with right hands and a big hip toss. Santino with a headbutt before pulling out the Cobra. Well, yeah, he actually teased the Cobra early on, but didn't pull it out. Just chased him. Swagger grabbed him and ended the counter with a DDT. Yeah, Santino countered with a DDT. Santino dropped Swagger with a Cobra for the win. Still to come segment. It beats Bikini Battle Royal with the WWE Divas. John Cena's backstage walking when he runs into Zack Ryder, who says nothing, and a box of John Laurenitus People Power t-shirts. Back to commercial. Cena pulls up one t-shirt, and Zack Ryder actually takes it from him, like throws it in the trash, and picks up another one. That's about it. Back from the break, and out comes John Cena to a decent reaction from the crowd. Cena says he sent out a tweet earlier and promised a historic announcement. Cena says WWE has been turned upside down and compares it to a bad episode of Star Wars. Cena tells a Star Wars story centered around Show Vader versus Cena Skywalker. Cena goes to make his announcement, but the lights go out and out comes Chris Jericho making his return. He's got a glittery jacket, but the lights don't go out and show it flashing. Jericho makes his way to the ring, and Coleslaw talks about how he just returned from a successful European tour with Fozzy. We see footage of them playing in concert. The crowd chants for Jericho as he takes the mic. Jericho asks Cena what the hell he is talking about. Jericho tells him to make the announcement and then shut the hell up and get out of his ring. Jericho says tonight is his night. Well, Cena says to stop Big Show from winning Money in the Bank. He is putting himself into the match for the first time ever. Cena talks about the WWE title and says he is going to win the whole thing at Money in the Bank. He was saying a PG cuss word. And Jericho was knocking what he was saying and talks about his experience in Money in the Bank matches. Jericho talks about how serious the match is and calls it a career ender. Jericho says instead of worrying about Big Show, maybe Cena needs to worry about him. Jericho's entering himself into the Money in the Bank. Ladder match officially. And then Miss Piggy interrupts from the stage. Too bad Kermit ain't there with her. Vicky confirms that there will be 2 Money in the Bank matches at the pay-per-view. One for the WWE title and one for the world title. Jericho tries to interrupt, but she shuts him up. She announces that only former WWE champions can compete in the WWE title Money in the Bank match. They will be Kane, John Cena, Big Show, Chris Jericho. Jericho versus Cena is announced for tonight. Well, we've got another legend backstage ready to return in honor of the upcoming 1000th Raw. It's someone who hasn't been on Raw in 15 years. The last time he was in a ring, he injured himself. As they go back to the commercial, back from the break, and Lillian Garcia begins to introduce a former Raw main eventer when she's interrupted by Heath Slater. And we see footage. Lillian is announcing this is a two-time champion. And they show footage from last week where Slater was laid out by Cyndi Lauper in a segment with Layla, Roddy Piper, and Wendy Richter. Slater says he doesn't care about what they think of him because he's one of the top superstars on Raw. And everybody in the crowd was laughing at him. Slater says that he rules the world, and guess what? That cue's out. That cue's his opponent. Because he's... here comes Psycho Sid Vicious. Sid gets a reaction, but noticeably less than what Vader got. So we got Psycho Sid versus Heath Slater. And Sid is wearing his blue jeans, a light color blue jeans, and he's got his knees wrapped up. The knee pads are on top. And he's wearing his black vest just like he did when he was wrestling in WWE and WCW. Well, Sid enters the ring and Slater backs in the corner. Sid smacks Slater in the chest and sends him to the mat. Sid with a kick to the chest. Sid sits Slater on top and smacks him off. Sid with a big slam. Slater ducks a clothesline and beats Sid down to one knee. Slater runs into a big clothesline. Sid hits a big leg drop and calls for the powerbomb. Sid nails the powerbomb on Slater and covers him for the 1-2-3 win. With double hands on the chest. Another still to come segment, the Divas Battle Royal and John Cena versus Chris Jericho. As they go back to commercial, number one contenders match, Alberto Del Rio versus Dolph Ziggler. We go to the ring and there's a contract hanging on a pole. Lillian Garcia explains the rules. The first man to climb the pole and get the contract will face Sheamus for the world title. On SmackDown this week, Railroad Rodriguez begins his introduction as Alberto Del Rio makes his way in. Dolph is out next. The bell rings and they go at it. Ziggler goes for the pole early, but Del Rio takes him in the corner and beats him down. Del Rio goes for the pole, but Ziggler stops him. A couple of minutes of back and forth action. Del Rio hits the backbreaker, goes for the pole. Ziggler stops him again and climbs up himself. Del Rio stops him again, but gets dropped by a drop kick. Ziggler gets thrown to the apron and makes another play for the contract, but Del Rio stops him again. Del Rio climbs up and gets close, but Ziggler climbs up his back. Del Rio puts Ziggler on his back and falls from up high with a big Samoan drop. They tangle on the corner. Again. The contract falls to the floor. They fight over it, but it keeps falling out of their hands. Coleslaw says you must control the contract to win the match. They continue fighting and both go down, and the contract falls to the mat again. Ricardo comes in, but Ziggler super kicks him, and the contract flies out to the floor. Ziggler crawls for it, but Del Rio stops him. Del Rio goes for it, and he gets pulled back now. They tumble out to the floor, slide off the ring, and hit the floor. The music hits, and out comes World Heavyweight Champion Sheamus to the stage. Sheamus says they can stop fighting because Vicky has made Sheamus versus Ziggler versus Del Rio for the world title for this Friday on SmackDown. Ziggler and Del Rio look on from the floor as Sheamus raises his title up high. And we get a look back from earlier tonight when Daniel Bryan won the elimination match against Kane and CM Punk. Punk versus Bryan is announced for the WWE title at Money in the Bank. Punk is backstage when AJ Lee walks up. She wants to make it up to Punk for his loss earlier. She is going to dedicate her match tonight to Punk. The Divas Battle Royal. Punk says maybe later they can sit down and have a serious talk about what's going on between them. She says she's open to taking it to the next level, and walks off. Back to commercial they go. We get a look back at earlier tonight. Okay, that was done twice. And now for your Battle Royal. Beth Phoenix, Oksana, AJ Lee, Maxine, Rosa Mendez, Alicia Fox, and the WWE Divas Champion, Layla, Kane, Tamina Snuka, Natalya, Vicky Guerrero was in the match. They were all out there. Back from the break, and all the divas are in the ring. Vicky Guerrero comes out and puts herself in the match. And this was the match that I dozed off because it was boring. Yep. I think I fell asleep during this Psycho Sid match anyways. Okay, well, she knocks the other divas aside and disrobes to reveal her bathing suit. I'm glad I missed that. They start things off, and they all go after Vicky first. Oksana and Alicia are some of the first ones eliminated. Rosa and Caitlyn also go out. Next is Tamina by Beth Phoenix. Beth and Natalya go after Layla, but Natalya gets eliminated. Layla eliminates Beth. It's down to Layla, AJ, and Vicky. AJ grabs Layla and tosses her out. But she's hanging on. Layla ends up getting eliminated. Vicky comes from behind and tries to eliminate AJ, but she hangs on. Vicky celebrates, but turns around to AJ, smiling at her. Vicky shoves her. AJ comes back, and they can't fight. AJ kicks Vicky out for the win. AJ celebrates in the ring by chanting "Borgasm." Yes, yes, yes. Just like Daniel Bryan. Another still to come segment. Your main event. Cena versus Jericho in the main event. Back to commercial. And your main event is up next. Back from the break. And out first comes Jericho. Followed by Cena sucks. Chance. The bell rings and they lock up. Going to the corner. Cena takes Jericho down with a headlock. I actually woke up for this match. Okay. Yep. Well, the bell rung and they locked up. Going to the corner, Cena took Jericho down with a headlock. Cena ends up going for the attitude adjustment, but Jericho escaped to the floor. Back to commercial they go. Back from the break, Jericho is in control. Jericho with a drop kick from the corner for a 2 count. Jericho with a back drop and stomps on Cena. Jericho bounces back and drop kicks Cena out of the ring. Cena comes back in, but Jericho keeps control. Cena fights free finally, but Jericho drops him with an elbow. Jericho lands on his feet from the lion salt. Cena comes back with a shoulder block and a big backdrop. Jericho blocks a 5-knuckle shuffle and goes for the walls of Jericho, but Cena blocks that. Cena goes for the attitude adjustment, but Jericho blocks that. Cena with a big slam and 5-knuckle shuffle. Big Show's music interrupts, and out he comes. Well, Cena goes for the attitude adjustment again, but Jericho counters and goes for the walls of Jericho. He's got it locked in, and as Show is entering the ring, Show drops a big leg drop on Cena while he's in the walls. The referee calls for the disqualification. Jericho looks at Show and backs off, leaving Cena to get beat up. He just says, "Have him." And escapes to the floor. So John Cena wins by disqualification. After the match, Show grabs Cena and drops him with a big choke slam. Show applies a colossal clutch. Was what is a new move. Well, it's nothing but the camel clutch, but you gotta call it colossal because he's a giant. Yeah. As the referee begs him to let go, Cena almost passes out in the camel clutch. Joe drops him on his face and stares at the referee as Raw goes off the air. And what happened after the TV taping stopped? John Cena defeated Big Show and Tensai with the attitude adjustment in the handicap match. John Laurinaitis hit the ring following the dark match and nailed Cena with a chair. Cena recovered and hit John Laurinaitis with the attitude adjustment to send the crowd home happy. And that ends my video for Raw and Superstars this week. Stay tuned tomorrow night. Same Shreveport time, same Shreveport channel for SmackDown and the remaining of the partial Superstars and some other breaking WWE news. Peace out.